Hi, my name is Gervais. I'm a homeschool mom of 6. If you're new to my channel, I taught for over a decade in public schools, and now I am honored and privileged to homeschool my own children. The purpose of today's video is for me to share with you my 2026-2027 preschool curriculum picks. So let's get started. I went with Good and the Beautiful, the preschool kit. It comes with a couple of resources. It comes with the preschool course book. It also comes with practice sheets. And then it also includes a folder activities piece. And then lastly, there are 2 different handwriting pieces. There's a part 1 and a part 2. We're going to talk about each of these pieces. I want to kind of explain why I chose these and all the things. We're going to start off with the preschool course book. You'll notice that I do have my son's name and his color. I use a coloring conventions for my 5 children. The 5 that I'm homeschooling, the 6th one is 16 months old, so he's learning but not with formal curriculum at this time. What I do is I give each of my children a color, and I use like a sticky dot, and that's how I color coordinate everything, any workbook, textbook, so that way I can associate that color with that particular child. If you purchase this, you will not see the sticker dot. Just wanted to kind of flag that. This is a spiral bound book, and what I like about it is it kicks off in the beginning, giving you an overview of each unit, which is very helpful. Here's the Unit 1 overview. I like that because it lets me know what letters we're going to be covering, identifying beginning sounds, the numbers, pencil grip, any skills at all. They're going to be highlighted on the very first page for that particular unit. And I found something to be really neat too with this curriculum. They have an area in here where they have a full color alphabet chart, and I found that to be so helpful because there's times when I want my child to identify a letter, or we're singing the alphabet song and I just want to run my fingers across the page while we're playing the actual song on the app. And I found this to be so helpful, such an amazing and unique resource. Also, at the beginning of this book, they have a full overview about the course that breaks down every single component. This is a very helpful yet quick read to help you understand what this course includes. If you're someone who wants to know what's covered, that's there, what items you need to have on hand as you're teaching these lessons, and also any extra items that are needed. I also like that if you are just shopping and you want to go check it out for yourself, you don't have to take my word for it. If you go to the website, you can actually preview a sample, and that's going to typically include the beginner pages, like the table of contents, the About This Course section, just kind of giving you a good feel and a couple of sample lessons. That's neat because it gives you the opportunity to kind of look in and see for yourself before making a purchasing decision. Then there is an overview page in here that really highlights, again, the structure of the courses, the sequence of the lessons, exactly any special items that you're going to need for those lessons are mentioned here, which is very helpful. And any other recommended resources, and it covers frequently asked questions. This is like your little orientation for a parent or guardian who's going to be teaching this particular course to their child. And I love the structure. I'm actually going to be showing you stuff that my preschooler already completed here as the example. I like that every lesson, it tells you what's included. It clearly lets you know what you need to do. It'll say here, point to the alphabet page and read this to your child. There are 26 letters in the alphabet. You don't have to read it verbatim. You may want to paraphrase, or you may want to repeat certain things. I just like that there's that option to know what to do, what to say if you're not prepared or you didn't want to do all this extra preparation. You have a resource to guide you step by step, lesson by lesson. It's totally open and go, grab and go. And then there's references. There's places where they reference that you're going to play a song. What I like is that there is a app, and it's called the Homeschool app, and you can download it for free. And I like it because a lot of the resources that are found within this preschool curriculum, you're going to actually be able to play videos and all of that directly through the app. I actually want to pull up the app to kind of show you. As you can see right here, I can go to language arts, and then I can go to preschool, which is right here. And then it'll show me There's a whole flip through that talks about the whole curriculum, gets you acclimated. It also has areas where you're going to encounter the alphabet. There's letter sounds where every single letter is broken down. If I were to click on A for this one, a video is going to play and it's going to be breaking down the sounds that those letters make. All the media is already built in. If there's a place in the curriculum that says alphabet song, it's going to guide you to the app and you can play it. I love that because, again, it doesn't require for me to just figure out what I'm going to do. Everything is here. It's laid out. It's easy for me to prep the night before or the morning of when I'm going to work with my child because everything is in sequential order. And there are little boxes here that allow you to check your progress as you progress through the lessons, which I absolutely love. Here it had the child color in all the uppercase and lowercase A's. And so that's what we did. And I have a little system where with my kids, I like to go, is that an uppercase or lowercase A? And we're like, no. And we'll just cross it out. I add a little extra step in there sometimes just to make it even more engaging. I like that it has this flow and this progression throughout the entire course. It's completely full color and it just gives this child multiple opportunities to encounter art, to observe art, to look at poems. And there's just so much stuff here. And I absolutely love that. And then there's also tools in here that help to teach proper pencil grip and things like that. I have just loved the fact that I can progress through here. And not only are there different lessons here for your preschooler, but then there's also unit assessments where the kid is going to have to go through and complete certain skills with your guidance, and you'll kind of be able to identify where their strengths and weaknesses are. That's weaved throughout the curriculum. In addition to that, there are also practice sheets. The practice sheets booklet actually comes like a tablet where you can kind of flip the page over. But in my good old binding fashion, I felt that it will be better for me to just spiral this for my preschooler and for myself so I can navigate through each lesson seamlessly. There are places where with every unit, there's practice pages. These practice sheets, I found that if I spiral it, I can flip back a page easily, lay it flat on the table, make it easy for us, and I wouldn't have to worry about pages flying everywhere. I can keep them intact. So I did that. I made it a point to go ahead and spiral. What I found with the practice sheets is that at the beginning of the practice sheets, every single letter of the alphabet is represented like this. And throughout the lessons, it may say, okay, now grab your letter J practice sheet. Have your child use watercolors to paint, or fill this with cereal or with cut up paper. So they get to manipulate this or have them color this. There's lots of different ways that they're going to manipulate and focus on identifying the uppercase and lowercase letter that you're focusing on for the lesson. And then once you get through all those letters of the alphabet, there comes a section where beyond the letters, there's additional practice sheets. These complement the actual lessons. And I like that because as you go through these practice sheets, it's just supporting what was already taught in the lessons. It echoes that. I found myself maybe teaching a lesson from the lesson book and then the next day doing a practice sheet and then kind of keeping that rhythm going so that way we can continue. And you're probably wondering, well, why is there a paper clip? I like to use a paper clip to keep track of where we leave off at. That way I can just grab the paper clip and I know this is where we left off at and I can jump right in. I also want to show you an example of an interactive activity. My son had to he had to match uppercase and lowercase letters. So these letters here were actually just squares. And we had to figure out, okay, the lowercase e goes with the uppercase e. And then my son was able to glue it. It was a nice little hands-on activity that he was able to complete. And I love that because as we progress through in the corner, it will tell you what unit this practice sheet is associated with. So that helps you as you're working through unit 2. Oh, you know that, oh, I'm also working on a practice sheet. They give you an example. This is unit 2. Notice that there's like uppercase E and all of that here. Then when I pull up the practice sheet, it's echoing each other. And these are both for unit 2. I love that. For me, it's been great to have both, to have the lesson sequence, but also the additional practice, because for me, it allows me to pace myself with my preschooler and not push him past his point of, maybe exhaustion. Like, I can tell when he's done, and when he's done, we kind of pause, and then we'll pick it up later. Something else I like about this curriculum is the folder activities. This is an amazing resource because it gives you some hands-on ways to work with your child, and it's super user-friendly. It comes in this container, and then there's tabs. And each of these tabs has a different activity. In the very back of this, there are cards and like letters, and I'm gonna give you an example. Things that you get to punch out and you would add it into your folder games. I haven't had a chance to add all of mine in just yet, but I will. And so the way it's set up, I'm gonna pull out the first one to give you an idea. Every folder activity has a name, like this is Mouse House. And so I had to punch out the little pieces that came with this game. But this game, I'm actually going to stand up the pieces so you can kind of get an idea. See the little houses? So these are organized by uppercase and lowercase letters. And then for this activity, there's a little mouse that you would hide. Let me make sure I'll show them. There he is. You'll hide this behind one of the houses that you place on the mat. As your child is peeking and taking a look at uppercase and lowercase letters and matching them up, they're also trying to lift up a house to see which one has the mouse underneath it. All of the instructions and extension activities are listed here. This just means as long as I make sure that I grab from the back of this folder all the little pieces like this that I'm going to need for the game, the folder game, I can just put those, like here we go, uppercase, lowercase c. I can put those inside this folder. And so when it's time for us to do the Mouse House activity, I lay this out on my desk or the table, and I go ahead and place the pieces, and we start the activity. I also like that for these folder games, they're sequenced in chunks of alphabet letters. So you'll see alphabet letters A through C are what are incorporated in this Mouse House activity. When we're done doing the activity, I take the pieces, put them back in the folder, and then this goes back inside of the activity folder container. There's lots of other activities in here, like we have otter ponds. This is another one, for example. So I had to punch out the otters. And in this activity, the kids are sorting between uppercase and lowercase letters. I will have all the otters laying in the pond, and my child will say, oh, well, this one is not lowercase. This otter needs to swim over in the uppercase. They're sorting it while this is laying on a table, and they're practicing identifying uppercase and lowercase letters, but it's a new cluster, E through H. It's continuing to make sure that the child understands and can correctly identify letters of the alphabet, but it's incorporating fun games. It lets you know how to prepare for each game and gives you every bit of instruction at the very top. Completely mom or parent or guardian friendly. And again, I love that all of this is organized so neatly in these folders. Now I will show you, here's a folder game that I did not set up yet. It's the Moon Match one. And so it's completely empty, but look how full color and amazing this is. This is working on letters U, V, and W. What I would have to do when I first get my chart is I'd have to come in here, and I would be looking for something that correlates with space. And it tells me in the corner, this is part of Moon Match. What I would have to do is just carefully punch this out, low prep, see that? And then this is going to actually live in my Moon Match folder for playing this Moon Match game. See? It's just neat because everything you need is here. This allows you to work with your child and make sure that they're learning and understanding letters of the alphabet and beyond. And all the resources that you need are here. What you'll find is as you're progressing through the lessons, there's going to be some optional practice or some recommendations for you to play folder games or other things. Anytime you turn to a lesson, you look at the very top, it'll tell you, okay, there's some optional activities there. It'll tell you what to do inside the app. It's just super user-friendly, and I love that because I have a 3-year-old that I'm doing preschool with who is very, very shy. I love that since I've started working with him in this curriculum, his vocabulary has grown and he's more willing to participate. There's a really cool place inside the app where kids are encouraged to do motions to identify letter sounds. They're actually called movement activities. So when you click right here, this is an example. I would click here, and then on this video, the teacher's going to show like, hey, A, like apple. And it's so cool because there's motions and it's teaching the sound that the letter makes. And when I first introduced this to my child, he was so shy. I was doing all the motions and he was sitting there smiling. But over time, he got more comfortable. Now he's doing the motions, and that movement is helping him to engage with the learning process, but he's also practicing the sound that those letters make. I just love that everything is intentionally thought out and carefully put together to make things easy. Now, one thing I do want to point out about the preschool curriculum is that there are a total of 90 lessons. And so if you are going day by day, you're not missing a day, and you're following this curriculum to the T, you may not have enough for a full quote unquote academic year if you're someone that's looking to do 120 days or 180 days. What I did to give myself permission to kind of move at my own pace but not have to worry what's next after I finish is I invested in the kindergarten prep. This comes right after the preschool set. My plan is to finish preschool fully at my son's pace, and then once we finish, we're going to go right into kindergarten prep. And I like this because this curriculum has 29 lessons, and I love that these lessons are going to be laying a foundation to prepare him for kinder. And so I love that. This course has a very similar structure to the preschool course in that you get a course overview, you find out exactly what to expect with the structure of each lesson, you are told exactly what special resources and materials you need for every lesson. For example, for lessons 1 through 5, I need to make sure that I have buttons according to this. If I look at this, I can prepare accordingly. And then I also love that there's a course overview for the lessons. So you have a full understanding of what's being taught here. And just like with the preschool, there's also a space in here for the kindergarten prep. If you are in the app, you'll notice that it shows like preschool, kindergarten prep, and it progresses from there. Honestly, I know that for when we transition to kindergarten prep, there's an area filled with videos that I can use as resources that correlate to what I'll be asked to do in the lessons. And like the others, what I like about this is that there are built-in activities. Like here, I will have to cut out the vowels, and I'll be using them with my child in the lesson. I like that there's built-in additional handwriting practice, as you can see, in focusing on pencil grip. Let's see what else they have in our kindergarten prep. I also like that I wanted to kind of show you. Notice how like the font size here is nice and big to help them focus on their manual dexterities, but there's lots of great full color and ways for the kid to appreciate whatever you're studying. It's not boring, but just amazing colors. And then I wanted to show you how there's some resources in the back that I thought was very, very neat. So way in the back, you'll find these resources. And these are cards that are thick, and it makes up a letter match activity. They are broken down by uppercase in one color and then lowercase in another color. When the time comes, I can just punch these out. They have a thicker feel to them. Like a deck of cards, which I'm sure is for durability. And then there are some really neat built-in resources in the back. I'm looking forward to diving into this and using these resources. Look how creative these are for vowels. Just so full color. This to me makes it easier for a child to engage because of just how thoughtful and how well colored, how beautiful all the details are in this curriculum. And I appreciate that because for me, I want something that's going to pull my child's attention and keep them locked in so that they can get what they need throughout the course. I wanted to just take a little bit of time and share with you my curriculum picks for my preschooler. And also just know that I put all of the links in the description for you to kind of take a look and shop around. Please, if you have any questions, do me a favor and drop them in the comments. I love to read your comments. I love it when you join the conversation because homeschooling is a journey and it takes a village, and we get to support each other as we continue on our journey homeschooling our children. And listen, if you enjoyed this video and you found it to be helpful, do me a favor. Hit the like button and subscribe as well. If you know someone that would benefit from the information in this video, please share this with them. And listen, I appreciate you following my journey. I'm getting more and more excited about sharing what's happening on this side of homeschooling for me and my family. So until next time, I'll check you later. Bye for now.